Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. We are continuing the Impact series. Today, we're talking about Devin Singletary's fantasy football value. I've got a special guest. He's a Buffalo Bills, I would say, expert insider analyst. I don't know the exact title. He's going to clarify that for you. And what I'm doing, guys, is I'm bringing the best in the industry on YouTube that handle that team and work on that team and study that team and analyze that particular team and give you guys that direct information on particular players to help you guys for Fantasy Football 2020. I want to introduce Dan Mitchell. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, not a lot. So definitely calling me an expert. That's definitely stroking my ego. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, guys, I've been covering the Bills for a couple of years now. I recently just ended up going on to YouTube about 5 or 6 months ago. And what can I say? It was a fantastic time for me to start because now Buffalo Bills fans actually have something to be proud of. So, yeah.
No, I'm excited, man. I like what you've done with the channel. Very interactive. You got a solid, loyal following, great interaction, a lot of views. And today I want to kind of focus on, and I'm going to bring you back, and I'm doing this with a lot of the experts. I just want to tease people. But okay, well, I want to know more about Diggs. I want to know about Josh Allen. Well, you're not going to find out today. You got to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and, of course, comment and interact. Today we're specifically talking about a guy I love for fantasy. The way that it sits right now, the end of March, is Devin Singletary. So I'm going to have some questions about Devin Singletary for you, and hopefully you can give us a little more insight on what's going on with that O-line, that offense, that team. Just give us a little more insight. We want that inside information, stuff that we may not be able to get from the mainstream news, right?
Absolutely.
So I want to start off with the big question here that I'm asking myself, and I keep saying I don't think he's going to be the workhorse. I think they're going to bring someone in. I think they're going to draft somebody. And I know it's hard for you to tell probably as well, but maybe you might know something that I don't. Is Devin Singletary going to be the guy? Am I going to get 300 attempts out of Devin Singletary? Because I'm looking at his stats last year. I'm not impressed right now because Frank Gore, and I hate these older backs, not personally hate, and you're gonna hear me say I hate these guys. I hate them for fantasy. I want to clarify. But 166 attempts, 599 yards. Frank Gore came in and hoarded a lot of the attempts, but then Singletary got it going a little bit more near the end. So, Mike, let's start off with the first question. Is Singletary going to be the guy?
Yes,
really?
110%. Now, we can look at like his stats from 2019, but really what a lot of people don't realize or don't really put into sort of the research is the fact that he really didn't start going, like being that number one back until I believe week 9.
Right.
So, like while he ended up like racking up 775 yards, definitely not something that's too attractive for fantasy. But one thing that I always like to say is this particular stat that I think is going to really signify and show in the future how valuable he will be to fantasy teams next year, which is that 5.1 yards per attempt. Now, that's on par with Derrick Henry. Now, that's on par with Matt Breida. And that's better than Nick Chubb, Mark Ingram, and even Christian McCaffrey. Now, granted, a lot of those names that I just rattled off, they had, several more attempts than Singletary. But just going off of his production with such a late start in 2019, as long as he has a nice secondary complementary back sharing the backfield with him, I'm seeing a very, very similar season, especially when it comes to yards per attempt in 2020.
Yeah, I'm looking at it week 9 because I'm looking at week 1, 4 attempts, week 2, 6 attempts. But week 9, it exploded to 20 attempts, went back down to 8 attempts in week 10, but then safe and steady week 11 to the end of the season. But I want to see 20 attempts. I want to see that volume. I want to see the receptions. But yeah, definitely week 9 is, I think, when he started getting okay, we got a good running back here. Let's use him.
Yeah. For sure. And, there was definitely a lot of debate going into it. Like, why were the Buffalo Bills hiding Devin Singletary? And I mean, this is typically a conversation that I have with, several of my buddies, Bills fans. And normally when you see a rookie running back, they're not built for an entire NFL season because they're just coming off from college football.
Correct.
So the reason I think that they waited so long to actually start utilizing the guy was the fact that he was not built for an NFL season quite yet. He just got off of playing for a D2 school in Florida. So what they wanted to do was sort of strongly build him up. And that's why they ended up having such a late start. And when you look at, he really didn't even start until week 9, 775 rush yards is actually pretty damn good. And it says a lot about the future.
It is. Now, I went to a training camp prior to the season back when McCoy was there. Now, I hate to be judgmental here,
Yeah.
but size, he did look a lot like undersized when you stand him up beside LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Is that going to be an issue? Because that's what's scaring me, thinking, okay, maybe they'll draft another workhorse because Gore's getting older. First of all, is Gore coming back next year? He should be coming back.
We only signed him for a 1-year deal. He's still a free agent, and I'm not seeing us re-signing him.
Okay, so just on the principle of the size is one, but also depth. There's gonna be depth needed. So again, the size is what concerns me, and it's like, okay, well, Devin we need that guy to pound it in near the goal line. I don't know if Devin's the guy. Is this going to be an issue as well? This is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah. So really what made Devin Singletary so productive last year was a lot to do with Frank Gore, just because the two of them had completely different running styles, where Frank Gore was more of the bruiser, and then Devin Singletary was the guy that can make you miss on the outside. I think that his production is largely going to be weighted on exactly who Brandon Beane and who the front office decide to pick up to complement him.
Right.
I know that you and I had a conversation about this a little while ago, and I know you're not the biggest fan of these two names, but this is something that I foresee our front office doing. I could basically almost be willing to bet that you will be seeing a notification from Adam Schefter that the Buffalo Bills signed a 1-year deal with either Carlos Hyde or Lamar Miller.
No,
to be the second one. I know. It's definitely not the most attractive thing for fantasy.
No.
But that's more likely than not, based off of past behavior from the Bills front office, is what's going to happen. And I think that the Bills need to find a running back that have those traits. Somebody that's not going to have like a flashy, flashy year for fantasy or like put up big numbers, but you really need that different style of running back in order to let Devin Singletary do what he does best.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a dagger in my heart, in the heart of many fantasy fans. That really bothers me when I hear that. But yeah, I mean, you got to look at the depth, right? You need, as an organization, if I was the head coach or the owner of the Buffalo Bills, I need depth to cover myself. That's just the bottom line. You can't dance around that. We just saw the Giants add some depth to their roster as well. I mean, you think that Saquon is going to be the guy, but they just add – who did they just add now? My mind's like not even going. They just added – I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah, I saw the notification yesterday, but I can't think of
Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis is the guy.
That's it.
My mind is just – I mean, that's the thing. It's a good thing. When I'm honed in on one team, that's all I'm thinking about. I don't even think about the other team. But, yeah, they added Dion Lewis, who I think could be we're going off on a tangent here, but could be a thorn in the side of Saquon a little bit. But he didn't affect Derrick Henry. So I'm hoping he doesn't affect in the same way. And it's these complementary insurance backs that are kind of needed. But for fantasy, you hate to see it. You want to see, because you got Singletary, who's well above par. Then you've got like Carlos Hyde, who's at the par. You want those like below par guys that aren't going to be a threat, whereas Hyde could slightly be a little bit of a threat to Singletary. And that's what bothers me. He's not that good, but he's good enough to be a pest. And that's that sweet spot you got to find when you draft a running back to make sure that they're not hoarded away with these other guys.
Yeah. And so say worst case scenario, say that they don't end up making that move in free agency because surprisingly our cap space is dwindling. Yeah. Since we ended up giving away our first round pick, there's a couple of running backs that have been circulating around the Bills community that have been super popular, one of which is Akers, and then the other is Jonathan Taylor. Both which would be fine, but I still think that Singletary's young enough where he still needs some type of veteran leadership.
Right.
And there's going to be a move for our backfield because as of right now, we really only have Singletary. And then we have Yeldon, who probably not going to be the second guy.
No.
And then we got that guy, Wade, who was a rugby player last year. So, I mean, we need some type of experience. And that's why I would much rather see us pick up a veteran free agent. That way, Singletary can have a fantastic season in 2020.
I love Singletary the way that it sits right now. Give me Singletary. And I think a lot of people will sleep on it for Fantasy Football 2020. I'm not sure what round he's going to go in because as of right now, when you do mock drafts, it's kind of messed up because you're playing against the computer for the most time because not a lot of people are mocking. It is kind of the calm before the storm. This is the deadest of dead for fantasy football right now, but not with the counselor brand. We go year round. But I'm saying it's like it is, and we don't know. But as of right now, I absolutely love Singletary. After the draft, we may have a different discussion depending on who they draft. Now, let me ask you: are the Buffalo Bills targeting a running back with their first pick for 2020 NFL Draft? Do you know?
There's definitely two schools of thought. Say that it were to happen as far as that first pick in the second round, it's either going to be a running back or it's going to be a cornerback.
Okay.
Number one, because we all know that we ended up picking up Norman. We ended up signing EJ Gaines for the third time. This is his third stint with Buffalo.
Right.
But we let Kevin Johnson walk. And he was largely a huge factor to a cornerback that thrived in man coverage, where you look at, Norman, and then you look at Levi Wallace, who we have on the corner, who are really just like zone corners. Like once you go like man coverage, like they get burned 90% of the time.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Bean goes for a cornerback.
Okay.
But I would say that those two positions are going to be, like, me personally would want to go for a cornerback like during the second round, because that seems to be a bigger need for us. So that's my thought process there.
I got to say that I love Josh Allen. This is a whole other topic. I want to do a whole episode on the Buffalo Bills' entire fantasy football impact. So we're going to do that. I want to talk more about Diggs, but I want to kind of focus on Singletary. Again, guys, smash the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of Singletary's value. So let's interact here in chat. But again, make sure you are subscribed, because I want you guys not to miss anything, to have that major advantage that you won't get with other channels, and that's having these experts come in. But again, I just want to talk about Allen because I love him. I think he's great talent. I think he's underrated. Last year, people were laughing at me. I said, Josh Allen is better than Baker Mayfield. The hate I got, people thought I was crazy.
Absurd,
You're nuts.
right?
You are nuts. You're crazy. Get checked into an institution. They should wrap you up in a padded room. F you, counselor. Screw you, you piece of garbage. Baker is going to dominate the league. He's got Odell. Odell is a first-round pick. 3 years, I said, stay away from Odell Beckham. And that's the sheep mentality. That's everyone saying, you got to follow the mainstream. You got to follow the name. And I said, no, Baker is overrated. Allen is better. Why don't you? Because if you look at not 2019, but 2018, I looked at the stats. It's not just me pulling this out of my ass. He outdid, I don't remember the exact fantasy points, but the last 5 or 6 weeks, he outdid Baker Mayfield significantly in fantasy points in 2018. So going into 2019, I'm like, I like the fact that Allen runs for fantasy. I like the fact that he's a better quarterback. I like his arm. All these things, and then sure enough, he smashed Baker Mayfield. So again, I like Allen, not only for fantasy, but reality. I think he could do good things. And me growing up in the Buffalo area as a child, I watched the Buffalo Bills in the 90s. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. No offense. So I grew up with that. So do you think now with the Patriots gone, we're going off on a tangent, but I like this. This is a good tangent. With the Patriots gone, that the Buffalo Bills undoubtedly will prevail in this division.
For sure. Yep. For years and years to come. Really, when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, we have not only been looking for a true quarterback one, but we've also been looking for a competent front office. And that's exactly what we have. Years and years, like that first year, once McDermott ended up taking over, we got 9-7. We fell ass backwards, like right into the playoffs. And then the following year, once Josh Allen finally came out, we had it. I really love the way that our team is being set up right now. It seems like that our core is finally being solidified. Of course, seeing that we end up finally extending Trey White and extending Matt Milano. So our defense is absolutely not going anywhere. And then as far as our offense is concerned, now that the big elephant in the room is gone, Tom Brady, I mean, there's no question in my mind that we are about to be division champs for the next 4 to 5 years. Let's
put it this way. I do not feel in the near future that the Jets and the Dolphins are going to be a threat. Let's put it that way.
No. The Jets are a hot garbage organization.
Jets have done nothing in the offseason. Absolutely not. They don't even have a receiver. They don't have a receiver.
And so they're never going to do anything with Adam Gase as the head coach.
No.
They're never going to do a thing with Adam Gase as the head coach. I mean, first, you're alienating a running back that you just paid bukus of money to the year before, basically saying that you don't want them. They're finally starting to address their O-line, so Darnold's not going to be seeing ghosts anymore. But, I mean, they're going to be in the basement. As far as the Dolphins are concerned,
they could take a step forward. They've got those 3 picks, right?
Yeah, was actually having a conversation with a buddy, And the Dolphins this year are going to improve, but they're going to have a very similar season that the Bills had in 2018, where they have a pretty solid defense, but their offense really is not going to be doing much because, I mean, they really don't have anybody, but I still foresee them, finishing out better than the Jets this year. And there's nothing more than any Bills fan wants to see than to just see the Patriots in the absolute basement. But I mean, with Belichick at the helm, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he could pull off like a 500 season this year. But
if things go well, I don't want to bring the name of the virus in here because I think, I don't want to bring it up because everyone keeps talking about it. But with what's going on under quarantine, all this stuff going on, I hope that everything's back to normal. And I want to get up to a couple of Bills games because I am, again, in that area, in the vicinity. Again, I've been to their training camp. I want to see the Buffalo Bills succeed this year. Again, that childhood. I grew up watching the Bills and the Cowboys, kind of like a little bit of rivalry there. In the 90s, those were the kind of the top teams, Jim Kelly. I love Thurman Thomas. We're going off, talking deeper. Remember Thurman Thomas? He's a legend, that guy.
Yeah, of course.
So I want to see them get back into that shape. I am excited about the Buffalo Bills for 2020. So Singletary, again, do you play fantasy, right?
Yeah, I sure do.
So I don't know where his ADP is going to land. Let's just say it stays the way that it is. They don't get another running back. They stay with what they've got. Where are you taking Devin Singletary? Second round, third round, fourth? Like, when do you think you might grab him? You might reach on him because you're a Buffalo Bills fan, but when do you think, what round would you probably take him?
And so in fantasy, the past couple of years, I have taken a running back in the first 3 rounds, and it's been actually very positive on my end as far as finishing. So as far as Devin Singletary is concerned, last year I ended up getting him in like the 9th round. Like no one even considered it. Like that big like rookie running back was Josh Jacobs. He was one that ended up going relatively early, but I got him in the 9th round. There's just this negative stigma when it comes to the Buffalo Bills as far as drafting players. Especially when it comes to my friend group, because I'm based in South Carolina right now. Right. So I'm surrounded by, so the Panther fans, Falcon fans, etc. So really with the ADP, say I would probably take him in the 3rd round. I wouldn't say that he's going to be like that, for sure, like a Christian McCaffrey. I mean, say that I get the 1st or 2nd pick, or even an Alvin Kamara or a Nick Chubb or a Derrick Henry. But I'm probably seeing him in the 3rd, and then that's most likely when I would pull the trigger.
I love the robust RB strategy. And we're going to talk about that more in my video. So guys, make sure you guys are subscribed, leave a thumbs up. Dan, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to get you on more often for sure. Yeah. Make sure you guys follow his channel. Can you shout out your channel for the people? Because I have this on audio as well.
For sure.
How do they find you?
Yeah. So just go into the YouTube search bar and type in Dan Mitchell. You will see an animated, just a picture of my face with the Buffalo Bills hat on. It's actually this, but just completely animated. You'll be able to find it there. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram @RealDanMitchell. Would love to hear your takes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for coming on. There's your feedback, guys. Pleasure. We're loving Singletary for 2020 fantasy football. Try to target him as soon as you can. And again, we're going to have to watch that draft. We're going to have you back on after the draft to analyze the team. And then we got Josh Allen to talk about. We got to talk about the Diggs connection. I think I'm going to love that connection. We're going to talk about that. So we're going to have you come on a lot more. Thank you, guys. You know where to find them. And again, you're pretty responsive on your YouTube as well, right?
Yeah, most definitely. You leave a comment, I'm most likely going to respond, and even more so responsive on Twitter. So, say that you really want to talk to me, then Twitter's the place to be.
Perfect. Thanks, Dan, for being on, guys. I appreciate it. Again, guys, leave a comment below. Are you drafting Devin Singletary based on what you heard? Let us know, and we will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, guys, and follow this Impact series that I've created. I've created a playlist with all of the Impact players for Fantasy Football 2020 and the experts, analysts regarding that team. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.